This video is sponsored by Aura, the all-in-one security for your finances, identity, and devices. It was funny, when I was on active duty, I was at this task force that was stood up after 9/11. And it was literally, its charter was as a temporary task force. And while I was there, they were creating a plan to figure out how do we go pitch ourselves for permanency. Like, nothing in the federal government dies. It just grows and it grows bigger. And if we don't go in surgically and start to say this agency needs to go and zero it out, it will never die.
No, and you know, what I think is going to happen is probably within the next weeks and months, there will be some successes to report from that, maybe, of course, with the help of the DOGE effort. And once the American people realize, A, that it's possible to go in surgically, as you say, and eliminate these programs, and B, the sun still rose the next morning. In other words, we could do this more and it's going to be okay. And in fact, we'll benefit from it. And then connect the dots between those executive actions and attendant legislation. Now we will have the muscle memory in the conservative movement of how to do this. This is the real promise of the Trump revolution. And to your point about all of the transition work of the various groups, in the same way that we hadn't been that organized as a movement until now, we also have not had this opportunity that has been realized by the President of the United States. So I really do believe, as Trump says, we're in a golden era. I think that this is sort of a refounding of the United States according to our principles. And while, of course, we can be jubilant about that, and we ought to be, we also need to be really aware that we cannot miss this opportunity, nor should we allow the deep state and the K Street folks to prevent us from fulfilling it.
I agree. Are you excited about the prospect of this reconciliation bill, whether it's one or two, and have you guys weighed in on what you think it should be in it and how it should be done?
When we were asked in leading up to Christmas which we preferred, we said two bills makes more sense to us, namely because you're going to be able to close the border and show the American people that you're actually moving on this agenda. Ultimately, though, Sean, we're agnostic as it relates to being one bill or two bills. We just say if you're going to do one big bill, which apparently is the plan now, we're going to be fully supportive, but we're going to be fully supportive with a caveat. Don't wait until Easter to start work on this. You better be doing it now. And you also have to be really careful about not putting so much into that one big bill that if, like a ship, you put so much on the top deck, it starts to sink under its own weight. That's the caution as friends that we would offer, but we're fully supportive of the substance and look forward to it getting done.
This video is sponsored by Aura, the all-in-one security for your finances, identity, and devices. Have you ever thought about the number of spam calls, texts, emails that you get on any given day? I mean, the other day I got one saying I had a package to be delivered. I just need to click on a link. But think about how they got your information in the first place. I mean, how many times do you wonder, where are they getting all this? How much is out there? Well, let me tell you, today's video is sponsored by Aura. Aura can actually help you remove personal information from data brokers and people's search sites that sell your identity to data centers, to scammers, to identity thieves. Aura VPN blocks your internet connection with military-grade protection. It also blocks scam and phishing sites for added protection. With over 100 virtual locations, you can access global content safely, whether you're at home or on the go. I get this all in one app for one affordable price. I'm not leaving my family or myself vulnerable any longer to data breaches. You can try Aura for 2 weeks for free. Go to aura.com/Spicer, aura.com/Spicer, AURA.com/Spicer. And in 2 weeks, Aura can tell you what information is out there, right? Aura.com/Spicer. So let's talk to people for a second. Just broadly speaking, I get the texts. You guys are very actively supporting the nominees that President Trump has put forward. Before we get into a couple specific people, just broadly outline what Heritage is doing with respect to President Trump's nominees.
Well, we are supporting them if they ask for policy suggestions, personnel suggestions. It's something we've done since 1980. But one of the things we're doing that's new this time, and doing some of this through Heritage Action, is running a 7-figure campaign, an advertising campaign that highlights the qualifications of every one of these nominees. We're doing that in swing states as a way of providing air cover for, say, Republican senators who need some friendly help to remind their constituents that these are important votes. I think Trump has assembled what has the potential to be the greatest cabinet in American history since Washington's. I mean that. No hyperbole. You know, I'm a historian. I've studied these cabinets. These men and women are ready to roll. And so we think at Heritage, we ought to do our part to invest in helping them get across the finish line.
It seems like Democrats are throwing up every roadblock. I was this morning looking down the list, and it looks like they're trying to drag out Pam Bondi's nomination, which seems to me, I mean, I just wonder, are they scared about what she's going to do, or are they just purely playing politics?
Both. In the same way that they were scared by this tremendous effort across conservative groups to prepare the next president, I think they're scared that he's delivering on the promise. And maybe after of his campaign, and maybe after his excellent inaugural address, where he didn't do the usual BS of extending olive branches, but just said, this is what we're going to do. I have a mandate from the people. I've been literally saved by God in order to be at this moment. I think the Democrats realize they've never had to deal with this. I mean, really, not since Ronald Reagan have they had to do this, not even Trump in 2017, because there wasn't that level of organization supporting him. And so the left, as you know well, is going to pick one or two or three of these nominees and try to make it really difficult. Hats off to John Thune. I think he's done an excellent job as majority leader thus far. And he said, imagine this. I mean, you talk about revolutionary. You senators might have to work on the weekends in order to get this done. Just let me translate that for ordinary people of whom I would like to think I'm one. That means the Senate is going to have to work really hard, and they rarely do.
You know, the funny thing is they actually don't have to work that hard. If they really wanted to do it right, they could just say, these people are very qualified. Let's have a vote. And then you guys actually could go home for the weekend. They have to, I think, deal with the Democratic tactics. How have you guys decided, though, who needs help and who doesn't? So I saw, like, for example, you guys putting out some great videos. Kash Patel, I think, was one. Pete Hegseth was another. How are you guys deciding? Are you coordinating with them? Are they reaching out to you? Or are you guys deciding, hey, we can see the opposition building. Let's go take it on?
Yeah, we run these plays independently, and but I say we run to where the gunfire is, the political gunfire is. And so we saw Kash Patel receiving some incoming, same as my great friend Pete Hegseth, Tulsi as well as a friend of Heritage. You don't have to be a close friend of Heritage for us to help out, obviously, but in those cases, those appear to be some of the nominees that the left is really going to target. I think that our advertising has already helped in shoring up Republican support. The other would be RFK. We think that not only in terms of politics, but also in terms of policy, this Make America Healthy Again effort is really important. I'm a native Louisiana, and I'm paying particular attention to the vote of Senator Cassidy on that. Senator Cassidy is a physician, and I think has been a little tepid in his support for Mr. Kennedy. And so this is the kind of thing where Heritage always wants to be a friend to any elected official of any party. But when we decide that we're going to engage, we're not playing Little League Baseball. We are there to achieve the will of the American people.
So as an educator, as a conservative leader, does it make you chuckle that Heritage is out there backing a Kennedy?
It does. In fact, my former chief of staff who's going into the administration was the first to tell me, Kevin, you really have to pay attention to RFK. I said, look, Wes, I'm the first Republican in my family. I have a very hard time trusting a Kennedy, but I had the opportunity just a few days ago to tell that story to Bobby Kennedy, who's now a friend, and he just chuckled, took it in the spirit in which it was intended, which is we got a special opportunity in the 2020s to put politics off to the side, focus on what we agree on, and go do the agenda of the American people. And I'm now excited to be part of this realignment with him.
All right, my last question for you is, and look, this is like you're a father, so this is like asking, which child do you like the most? But of the nominees, is there one that particularly excites you because of their background? I mean, again, I'm not. This isn't at the detriment of anyone else, but is there somebody that you're personally like cheering on because you know something about them, or there's an aspect of that agenda that you really want to see get done?
Yeah, you're really going to get me in trouble. I mean,
No.
yeah, I think I know. I think all of the cabinet appointees work really closely with one of them in particular, my great friend Brooke Rollins, who's going to be a great ag secretary.
Oh, that's right. You guys,
And,
Texas
yeah,
Public Policy Institute.
that's right. Even though she's a Texas A&M Aggie and I'm a University of Texas Longhorn, I'm rooting for her. I will say, and
That's like
she
Texas bipartisanship.
yeah, that it is the most that I can muster. I think all of us, probably including Brooke, are most excited about Russ Vought going
Oh,
back to the
that was
Office
my,
of
okay,
Management
you
and
did it.
Budget.
That was my pick. I think he can
Yeah.
be the most consequential guy in terms of reshaping
Yep.
spending and the federal government. That's exactly where I was going to go. But what? Tell me
And
why
look,
you.
the reason for me is twofold. The first is he's going to touch every agency, right? So
Yep.
Brooke at the Agriculture Department, Linda McMahon at Education, Pete at Defense, they're all going to rely on Russ. But the second is, having been in Washington 3 years, that's something I would never say, I thought I would ever say, Russ is someone who doesn't exist for the cocktail parties. He
Right.
doesn't exist for the dinners. Some of those might be okay, you know, when we're at inauguration time. But Russ is here to work and to do what is good. He is a man of great faith. I just admire him so much as I do all of these other picks. And he really is going to be kind of the unsung hero of this administration because he's the guy running the numbers to see how we can make all of this work.
I'm so glad you said that because that was my pick, and to hear someone of your stature say that, it's like it validates me. Going, okay, at least I knew there's something there. Kevin Roberts, appreciate all the work you're doing. Congratulations on your book. I love it, and the work that you guys. That's your personal book, but then you guys wrote a lot as an institution leading up to this. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all the work that you did leading up to the election, and that you're continuing to do to see all of that hard work come to fruition. Through the various agencies, the White House, obviously hoping Congress follows through as well. So appreciate everything that you guys do at Heritage.
Thanks, Sean. This was fun. We appreciate what you do, and thanks for always being personifying the spirit of a cheerful warrior.
I'll do my best. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
All right, guys. Big Southern border deep dive Friday, discussion on MAGA. Awesome panel discussion headed your way tomorrow. Always sign up for my free newsletter, SeanSpicer.com. I'm going to give you great insights into what's going on in the Trump White House and in politics. SeanSpicer.com. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great night. Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.